across this river. Angel, angel, what have I done? I faced the quakes, the wind, the fire. I've conquered country, crown and throne. Why can't I cross this river? Pay no mind to the battles you've won. It will take a lot more than rage and muscle. Open your heart and hands, my son, or you'll never make it over the river. It'll take a lot more than words and guns, a whole lot more than riches and muscle. The hands of the many must join as one, and together we'll cross the river. It'll take a lot more than words and guns, a whole lot more than riches and muscle. The hands of the many must join as one, and together we'll cross the river. Nature, nature, heaven. It'll take a lot more than words and guns, a whole lot more than riches and muscle. Conquer every mountain. The hands of the many must join as one, and together we'll cross the river. Brave the forest, brave. It'll take a lot more than words and guns. Brave the icy winds, a whole lot more than riches and muscle. Brave can be them on. The hands of the many must join as one, and together we'll cross the river. And together we'll cross the river. And together we'll cross the river. Nature, nature, heaven and home. And together we'll cross the river. Nature, nature, heaven and home. And together we'll cross the river.
The Walt Disney Company is acquiring
The
Lucasfilm.
main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them.
I told Brian this, it's no surprise. I said, I just fundamentally disagree with your concept of this character.
I loved it. I love this movie, man.
I knew this was going to be bad from the second the opening crawl finished.
I will go my way and I'll let them go their way.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming by Echo Base Network. A very special thank you to all of our subscribers. You make us who we are. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we greatly appreciate your consideration. Please make sure, whether you subscribed or not, that you hit that like button and you comment below. We would love to engage with you in that way. Thank you guys so much.
Echo 3, Echo 7. On over the street. Echo Station 3PA. Monitor Terry Walker.
Dice is on the beat.
It's Mexican Iron Man.
Today, I am proud to announce the Walt Disney Company is acquiring Lucasfilm.
The main thing is to protect these characters, make sure that they still continue to live in the way that you created them, and that the universe of Star Wars continues to grow.
I needed somebody I trusted who could take that franchise and make it work the way I intended it to.
Kathleen Kennedy, who is the worst leader I have ever seen for a major company. She is pathetic.
It's not going to save this franchise.
Look, I have to say that overall, I think that the Star Wars has been a tremendous disappointment.
today's news, we look at fans' reactions to Rise of Skywalker.
I can't believe this is a Star Wars movie.
The movie was terrible, bub.
I haven't been this upset since Mr. Miyagi died.
That's it, Mary Sue. I'm sick of this. We're gonna go find people who like my movie. I'll even create some new Jedi powers if I need to. My movie was the best.
Me, Grimlock, say I'm strongest. Me, Grimlock, should lead all Autobots, not Optimus.
Hello, Dinobots. My name is Rey Skywalker. Have you seen my new movie?
What girl talk about?
You've never seen or heard of Star Wars? I am the leader.
I thought I recognized you. You are strong like me, Grimlock thinks. We will go see movie.
Great! I'll meet you there tonight at 7.
Me, Grimlock, no like your movie. Your movie stinks. It's not real Star Wars. And movie theater was empty.
You will not talk to me like that. I am Rey Skywalker.
Rah!
We won't stop, Mary Sue. We will find someone who likes my movie.
Today, Nick and I would like to announce our 2020 production schedule. You can tune in every Monday and Thursday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time for our regularly scheduled broadcasts. Our productions include our regular two-man show covering weekly hot topics called EBN Presents, Nick's Takes, which tackles relative dramatic events and YouTube controversies, Lessons from Coach is our show that focuses on righting the wrongs in the media today. We will also continue our stop-motion animated series titled Echo Base Adventures. With the January 18th debut for Star Wars: A Sequel Trilogy documentary, Nick and I look forward to 2020 with great anticipation as we plan 2 more feature films. Finally, we are pleased to announce the launching of our weekly live stream, Why We Love Star Wars. Every Saturday night at 7 o'clock p.m., this will be a home for all fans who love Star Wars in any capacity. And as always, we are, you are, Echo Base Network, and we are out. On January 18th, we will have the world premiere of our Star Wars: A Sequel Trilogy documentary and our online black tie monetization party. Recently, our channel was approved for monetization. This is an amazing achievement and reward for many hours of work. More importantly, you, our loyal fans and subscribers, took time out of your busy lives to watch our many videos. We love Star Wars, and we know so many of you do as well. To this end, we are launching our 2020 Super Chat program. Nick and I don't have to rely on Super Chats, as we are both professionally and fully employed. Therefore, our Super Chat program will focus on 3 things: charity, content, and community. YouTube keeps 30% from every Super Chat dollar, leaving creators with only 70%. We are pleased to announce that the remaining 70% we will allocate 20% to children's charities, 25% that focuses on our members' stories, and the remaining 25% to upgrade our production to ensure our program is at the highest quality. In the spirit of transparency, we retained an accountant who will complete financial reports as to how every dollar has been spent. These reports will also be visible for all as we launch our Echo Base Network website. Maintaining a strong relationship with you is of the utmost importance. Please let us know of your favorite charities, Star Wars stories, and any ideas on future productions you would like to see. Your feedback is always welcome and strongly considered. Let's have an amazing 2020 together, and as always, you are Echo Base Network.
We have another Titan, Mr. Gary from Nerdrotic. Gary?
He's pulled over getting a Slurpee.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me at all?
Yes,
yeah, I can hear your beard.
Sound like grated cheese, but we got you.
Okay, yeah. It's my beard. That's right. Yeah, I'm in the Grapevine in driving down the butt crack of California right now on the way to go see Mom Roddick and go visit the Orville.
Oh, nice.
Lucky.
So, yeah.
And
congratulations, guys.
One of our favorite YouTubers on planet Earth right here, John Talks, and then the next one, another one of our favorite YouTubers on planet Earth, the amazing Lucas. Holy moly, look who is the Echo Base Network. How are you guys doing?
Yum. Can you guys hear?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, how you guys doing tonight?
That's all I care about. Forget about John Talks. I actually watched John Talks. That's the funny part. I donated on your super chat, I believe.
You did. I still got to get you back on that one.
Me.
There it is.
There you go.
Boom.
Now it's a party.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you can hear me. Is that all good?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Good. I'm just checking in. There we go. That's better. Now we're not.
Well, you just mentioned bring in or bring characters together, and look who we just had pop in. Not just the narrator, much bigger than that. Everybody's overlord. All hail Doomcock.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here, and congratulations, you guys, on your fantastic documentary. And thank you for letting me be a part of it. And hail to the amazing Lucas, and hail to the great Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well,
what a hell of a guy.
I bow to you, sir.
I bow to you back. I'm not on camera for security reasons, but I bow to you. You are outstanding, and Free Enterprise is a hell of a movie.
Well, thank you. I hope the center of the world is warm.
I got chills just listening to you say that. Well, Jeremy, thank you so much, man, for, I'll say it again, everything that you do, and especially coming on here tonight and just chiming in and being here with us. So,
hey, it's a pleasure. Really, I mean, I know I'm viewed in a certain light in terms of the channel size and whatever, but at the end of the day, you guys are my equals, you're my peers. You guys probably ultimately probably knows more about Star Wars than I do when it comes down to the lore. You know,
I'm sure we do.
I'm just louder. Yeah, I'm just louder and you know, more bombastic, so it gets me more views. But I'm pretty sure you guys are far more knowledgeable and respectable from that perspective. And I appreciate both of you and respect both of you. You know, and we're equals as far as I'm concerned.
The past week here at Echo Base Network has seen both great highs and lows. The premiere of our sequel trilogy documentary was a great success. But there was something greater happening, something far more important. One of our brothers was hurting. Stone Loki was going through a moment in life, one that many of us have faced, or one that all of us will face eventually. The loss of a hero, the loss of our father. It began with a simple message that simply said, "Hey guys, I just found out that my father passed away. If you could share this, I would appreciate it." Loki's request grabbed us instantly. This Saturday's Why We Love Star Wars is about a father and a son. There is no greater bond than the one between a father and a son. Strong, unyielding, and everlasting. We have the honor and privilege of hearing directly from Stone Loki as he tells us his story, why he and his father love Star Wars.
I was born on a U.S. naval base and born right into a Navy family. It was different, I guess, than the way a lot of other people are raised, because you're immediately in this giant family. You're a part of this giant family, and you see these titans, these men. I was just a little kid. One of the very first memories I have is my dad picking me up and putting me in this plane. And at the same time, the first movie I ever remember going to see was Return of the Jedi. And I went nuts when the Ewoks attacked. You know, the Ewoks attacked the stormtroopers. Aiyah! And I was up in my seat, jumping up and down on my seat, and my parents are grabbing me, trying to hold me and sit me down, because I thought the Ewoks were just the coolest thing ever. You know, I was just a little kid. So what really grabbed me about Star Wars at the time was the planes, the X-Wings, the speeders, the air speeders in Empire Strikes Back. Anytime they were in space, I was hooked, because real men flew planes. That's the way I grew up. Those are the things I saw. I spent a lot of time driving my mother absolutely insane, because she was the only one there. My dad would be out on deployment on a carrier, and he'd be gone, 6 months or more. So when he came home, I would get to stay up late. I would get to stay up, and we would watch Star Wars. We would watch Star Trek. We would watch Forbidden Planet. We would watch The Thing from Another World. We watched all these old shows, but Star Wars was always there, and it was always in the forefront. And seeing him in his flight suit and his helmet immediately made me think of Luke Skywalker in his flight suit and his helmet in an X-Wing. It always went hand in hand. They were always there together. My dad was a huge Harrison Ford fan. I mean, huge. Everything that man came out with, didn't matter whether it was regarding Henry, didn't matter whether it was Star Wars, didn't matter Indiana Jones, whatever it was. If it had Harrison Ford in it, we watched it because he was a huge Harrison Ford fan. And of course, because he was, these were monumental heroes in my mind at the time. These were people that were held up in godlike status because the person I held up to that status was my dad. One of the hardest times for me was when he retired. When he retired from the Navy, he decided that he was going to go out to Texas. We were going to all move to Texas, and he was going to work for NASA, running the simulator for the astronauts. And we took a trip out there. He met with NASA, and they hired him. They said, yeah, we would love to have you. And we started looking for a home. And they found a home with a pool, which I thought was the coolest thing. And we moved. Right before we left California, the Challenger exploded. And I remember sitting in the car and my mother getting so upset when it came out over the radio that the Challenger had exploded. And immediately everything was in flux because he might not have a job. You know, those astronauts had just died, and we might not be moving. We may have to do something else. So he had called them and talked to them, and they said, you still have a job. Everything's on hold right now, but you still have a job. Report for work on this day. And he did, and they immediately let him go. And we didn't know what we were going to do. I was still a little kid. I didn't really understand what was going on. I think I was 7 at the time. And everything was up in the air. And because of his love for Harrison Ford's character of Indiana Jones, he said, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to become a history teacher. And that's exactly what he did. And he did it in 3 years. He went back to college and he got a teaching degree and became a history teacher. So in the late 90s, the Star Wars movies got re-released. And I remember my dad being so excited because he wanted to go see them. And of course I wanted to see them. The special editions, you know, no one knew what they had done yet. We knew they added things, but no one knew what all they had done yet. And we were just excited to get to see them in the theater. And I remember sitting there watching Empire, and he leaned over and whispered to me, he said, I never believed that Darth Vader was Luke's father. He said, I thought he was lying to him. And I was like, oh wow, you know, I never even thought about that. Everybody was, oh, Luke, you know, Luke's Darth Vader's son. But he didn't believe it. He thought Vader was just screwing with him and messing with him. And it was little things like that, sharing that, getting to see those movies with him in the theater. Those are things that I will never forget. That I will always be grateful for. So Phantom Menace rolls around, and he will not go see it with me. He has read the reviews, he has seen what people have said about it, and he refuses to go see it with me because, and this is, I'm going to coin this phrase here, how very Doomcockian of him, he does not want that to ruin the movies that came before it. He does not want that to ruin what came before. And I remember him saying, how can this sweet little kid that's supposed to be in this movie turn into Darth Vader? And it was such a trip, the fact he wouldn't go see it. This is a guy who loves these movies. He loves this stuff. He eats it up. He eats all of it up, and yet he won't go see it with me. So I go with my friend, kind of like my version of Nick, Coach. I go with my best friend. And I loved the end of the movie. I absolutely loved the end of the movie. Some of it I didn't like, but I go back and I report. I'm like, listen, Dad, it's not perfect. I don't like what they did with Yoda. The new puppet looks terrible, but it's good. You're going to love the end of this movie. I said, Qui-Gon Jinn is one of the best Jedis I've ever seen. We've got to go see this movie. And so we went and saw it. And he liked it. He liked it for the most part. He did. He did not like Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan, though. He was like, I just can't see this Obi-Wan. But by Revenge of the Sith, he absolutely loved him. That was his favorite character. In all the prequel trilogy, that was his favorite character. So Attack of the Clones comes out, and of course we have to go see it opening night. He has to see these movies now. He wants to see them with me. He has accepted the shortcomings of Phantom Menace. He loved the Darth Maul fight in that movie, and now my father is going to take me to see Attack of the Clones. So we go and see Attack of the Clones, and this is now his favorite prequel trilogy movie because of the clones. He has wanted to see the Clone Army, the Clone Wars, what Obi-Wan talks about in that first movie. He has wanted to see that since it first got brought up. You know, this is like, okay, we've been waiting to find out about the Clone Wars. And at the end of that movie, when the clones fight and the clones show up and they save the Jedi, he was right there. You know, I could see it in his eyes. He was right there. And it was so awesome to get to share that with him and to see that and to see him get excited about it. And everyone in that theater, my father included, got up and cheered when Yoda pulled that lightsaber out of his coat and took on Count Dooku. He was cheering, and it was so epic to get to see that and to be there with him for that. And this is where it kind of falls off for him because he did not want to see Anakin go bad. He knew this was going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen, but he does not want to see it. And I drag him to the theater anyway. And the most telling thing is we were sitting there, and it's the scene where Anakin and Mace are confronting the Emperor. And Anakin says, I need him. And my dad, in a theater full of people, said, bullshit. And this is a guy who would not do anything like this. It was completely out of character. But he's sitting there, he's like, bullshit, you don't need him. And he just said, know what, at that point. And then he goes and he kills the younglings, and he's just shaking his head. He's sitting there shaking his head like, this is complete bullshit. This is complete and utter bullshit. And we're leaving, and I'm like, well, Dad, you knew. You knew this was going to happen. You knew that he was going to turn to the dark side. He said, yeah, but I don't like it. He goes, I like the fight at the end between him and Obi-Wan and how he became Vader, but I didn't like any of the other stuff. And it was, he didn't want to see it. Who wanted to see it, really? We all knew it was coming, but who wanted to see it? Clone Wars, man. Clone Wars, the TV show. Who would guess that a 60-year-old retired Navy pilot and teacher would be rabidly seeking the Clone Wars DVD sets so he could watch them? Because that's what he loved. That's what he really, really wanted to see. He wanted to see all the Clone Wars stuff. He wanted to see the fight during the Clone Wars. And it kind of skipped over that in the movies. And I was like, one year I was like, Dad, what do you want for Christmas? He's like, oh, give me that new Clone Wars DVD set. Your mother won't let me have it. And it was things like that, and sharing that and getting to do something like that always put a smile on my face every time. Chewie, we're home. One of the most epic lines in a trailer for a movie ever. Chewie, we're home. Had everybody's heart beating a little faster, and there were strings getting pulled. And they knew what they were doing. They did, because I wanted to see it, he wanted to see it, everybody wanted to see it, and it is one of the movies I did not get to watch with him. I was not living near them at the time, and I didn't get to see that movie with him. He liked it. He did not like what they did to Han, but he liked it. Whether anybody else liked it or not, he liked it, and he just hated what they did to Han. He really did, because that was his character. That was his favorite character, you know. And I could see his interest in it waning as the new trilogy, the Disney trilogy, went on. I walked out of The Last Jedi in shock. I did not know how to feel. I did not know what to think. I did not know how to feel. I was so confused, and the very first phone call I made was to my dad. And I said, I don't know what to tell you. He goes, well, how was it? And I said, I really can't put into words what happened. I said, I'm so conflicted at the moment. I don't know how to describe it. It's like I'm in shock almost. And he's like, was it that bad? And I said, I can't really tell you. I don't know at the moment. And he's like, well, I'm going to go see it in the next couple of days. And I said, well, I hope you can make more sense out of it than I can. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm going to have to go back and see this again. Because I don't understand what I don't understand. I'm not feeling it. I want to feel it. I want to love this movie. But I don't know how I feel about it. So a couple days goes by, and he calls me, and he says, son, they've made a mistake. And I said, you think they made a mistake too? And he goes, I think they've made a very big mistake. I was like, well, what do you think? What do you think? I mean, what do you think about what happened? He goes, son, when I saw them save those horses and they didn't save those kids, something was wrong. And I said, yeah, that didn't make any sense, did it? He goes, no. And going to hyperspace to destroy a ship, no. Why didn't one of the X-Wings just go to hyperspace and fly through the Death Star and destroy it that way instead of the trench run? What would have any of that made sense? And I was like, you're right, it just doesn't make sense. And he said, Disney's made a mistake. That was not Star Wars. That was something else. Those weren't the characters we know. Those were other people. And he never watched the last movie. He never did watch the last movie. That was it for him. That was it for Star Wars for him. The EU, Timothy Zahn, the Thrawn trilogy, James Luceno, these were writers and books that we loved. We would trade books. And it started out just like, oh, hey, have you read this one yet? No, I haven't read this one yet. Okay, we'll read this one. And later we were mailing books. We were literally FedExing each other EU books. He loved Thrawn. He loved Timothy Zahn's Thrawn. He loved the Thrawn trilogy. He loved the character. I remember going to the mailbox one day and I had a package from him. And I opened it up and it was Outbound Flight. And I was like, wow, I had never heard of this one, but it's Timothy Zahn. And I called him up and I said, hey, I just got the book. And he said, read it. It's got Thrawn in it. And I said, holy crap, it does. Yes, Thrawn. So everything Thrawn, even the new Thrawn books, he read the last two Thrawn books that Timothy Zahn wrote. But he was a huge Zahn fan. I remember reading the Jedi Academy trilogy and giving him those books, and he made it about halfway through the first book, and he said, I'm not really feeling it. I said, why? These are really good. He goes, no, that Timothy Zahn writer, man, he's good. These other guys, I'm not too sure about. Eventually, though, the books about the Yuuzhan Vong War, he loved those. He absolutely loved those. He cried when Chewie died. He called me up and said, I just got to the part where Chewie died in these new books. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, I'm just, man, saving Han's kid. He loved the EU. He loved it so much. The Yuuzhan Vong War, the New Jedi Order, he loved those books, and he hated it when good characters were gone or when good characters did something maybe they shouldn't have done. Han and Leia's kids in that. Han lost all his boys, and that just broke the old man's heart. He hated it. He hated when Jason turned to the dark side. He hated when his sister took him out. He hated that the twins didn't stay the twins and become the new Jedi Order. Jason and Gianna were the future. You know, that's what he would say. He was like, these two kids are the future. These are the kids, these two twins are going to take over whenever Luke passes to the other side. And he hated reading that when that happened. You know, when I was growing up, we didn't always get along. You know, as I became a teenager, we would fight and we would say things. And I'm sure it happens a lot, you know, to a lot of people. But we always had Star Wars. We always had Star Wars. That was something that brought us together. Like Yoda says, it surrounds us and binds the galaxy together. Maybe Obi once said that, I don't know. But that's something we always had. That's something we always shared. Was our love for Star Wars.